Part 2. The Source. Mantras to experience the fourth dimension. Part 2. Source Tools. We have seen the three aspects of the third dimension: actions, emotions, and thoughts. Having seen the sutras to master the third dimension of thoughts, let us now look at the fourth dimension, the foundation for all these, the source. Humans are generally in one of the three states: waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. Beyond these exists the source of all these states, pure consciousness, which can also be called as the fourth state or the fourth dimension. What is the entity that enables our eyes to see, makes it possible for our ears to hear, or our tongue to speak? The source, consciousness, God, or self, is the living, sentient principle within us due to which the body is alive. It is only due to the presence of consciousness, the knowing principle, that our eyes can see. It is only due to its presence that thoughts arise. The human body is insentient, non-living, a dead corpse from its very birth. It is only in the presence of the source that our otherwise dead body springs to life. Thus, it is not the body or the mind that experiences. The real experiencer is the source, which uses the body-mind as an instrument to experience itself. While thinking is the key aspect of the third dimension, being is central to the fourth dimension. Beingness is the experience of existence, the isness of life, the feeling of being alive within which everything is being manifested. This experience of being or presence is continuously going on within every human being. When it is accessed, there is natural flow of abundance and serenity in your life. If we are unable to experience this natural state of being in our everyday humdrum, it is because this experience has been veiled by ignorance. Let us first dispel this ignorance by briefly delving into what this experience is like. When it is said that the experience of the source is constant within every human, one might imagine that the source exists within the human body. In reality, the source is not just within the body. Rather, the body too exists within the source. A fish lives in water. There is water all around it. It may search for water wondering where the water is. This may happen because the water is so close to its eyes that it does not even realize that it is in water. In fact, water is the essential medium that enables the fish to live. In the same way, the existential experience of being is so close to us that we just do not realize whether we are within the experience or the experience is within us. The experience is present everywhere, inside us and all around us. The source is from where thoughts arise. If we can recognize and remain established in the source from where thoughts truly arise, then we can be liberated from thoughts and effortlessly create from the source. The experience of the fourth dimension cannot be contained within concepts. It exists beyond thoughts. Hence, thinking about the experience of the source has nothing to do with actually experiencing it. Thoughts have nothing to do with being. To experience and create from the source, we need to go beyond thoughts. The third dimension, though phenomenal, is but a small aspect of the source. One may say that, I can feel the source. Another may say, the experience of the source is blissful. And yet, another may say, the source cannot be described. All these statements have nothing to do with the true experience of the source. These are mere qualifying statements that arise as thoughts, and thoughts can never define the source. The source can only be pointed at. Most people spend their lifetime imprisoned within the limitations of thoughts and claim to have experienced the source. A little child once asked his father, "What green color looks like?" The father, whose finger was stained with red ink, pointed the finger in the direction of a tree and said, "That's green." The child fixed his gaze on his father's finger and said, "Yes, I understood. But you know that he has mistaken the red stain to be green." The child then carries this misunderstanding throughout his life after mistaking the color of the pointing finger to be the color of what was being pointed at. From the above example, we can understand that the source has been pointed at in various ways. A lot has been written, spoken, and sung about the source. But all these forms of expression are merely pointers. People remain stuck with these pointers and argue about them all through their lives. They never go beyond and understand what they are pointing at. The pointers belong in the realm of the third dimension of thoughts. When you go beyond these pointers and experience the fourth dimension of consciousness, you are freed from the suffering and negativity that keeps troubling you. Qualities of consciousness such as love, joy, peace, abundance, and creativity begin to flow from this state and manifest in your life. The greatest and all-important purpose of thought is to lead to pure consciousness, the source. The third dimension is the gateway to the source, which is the fourth dimension. Your thoughts can help you connect to the source, for that is the ultimate use of power of thoughts. When we look at a painting, we not only realize that it exists, but also that we have a pair of eyes that are being put to use. Similarly, detecting a fragrance or odor not only lets you know that such a smell exists, but is also a realization of the existence and purpose of your nose. Sounds allow us to realize the presence and purpose of our ears, taste the purpose of our tongue, and touch the reason for our skin and nerves. Viewed in this context, what are thoughts for? The fact that you can think serves as an indication to the presence of the source of consciousness from which all thoughts arise. These senses and their sense objects form pairs. For example, your eyes and the sights that are seen form one pair. Your ears and the sounds that are heard form another pair. Among all these pairs, the most important is the power of thoughts and the one who is experiencing it. The source, the self. The one who experiences thoughts or the lack of it is called the self. When the silence behind thoughts is revealed, the self experiences itself. The source becomes self-aware. The source returns onto itself. It is not possible for the paintings to see the eyes. The eyes see the painting, and that is proof enough that the eyes exist. Nor is it possible for a sound to know the ears. And you only know that ears exists though hearing sound. In the same way, thoughts can never know the source. The source alone can know itself. Allowing the self to be revealed to itself by annihilating thought is the purpose of source tools. The thought rules you learnt in the previous section were aphorisms intended for the third dimension. The source tools presented in this section guide you to access the source through meditations. Great achievements are possible when we are rooted in the experience of the source. Instead of vacillating in the storm of compulsive thinking. This is because the source always expresses through bodies which are receptive and through which innovations can be manifested. When we learn the technique of being established in the source, then we open the gates to new creations that are waiting to manifest on earth. Compulsive thinking becomes a habit because of our attachment to the content of thoughts. We are attracted to information held within our thoughts. We never look at thoughts as they are, without indulging in our personalized meanings. We entrap ourselves by associating feelings with our thoughts. If we have to move from where we are today towards accessing the source, we need to understand effective ways of unshackling ourselves from our attachment to thoughts. This is what source tools do. Our life is driven by a framework of governing beliefs that impose hurdles in creating a perfect life. These are beliefs such as, I am always late. I always end up in a mess. I cannot trust anyone. There is not enough. Or, I always need to struggle. We cannot overcome these beliefs by remaining within these conflicts. By remaining within these confines, we need to first arise above them and see them for what they truly are. This can happen only when we learn to watch our thoughts by being centered in the source. By merely watching thoughts that pass by as a detached witness, we stop lending power to these limiting thoughts. Consequently, these thoughts die down and are replaced by novel, innovative thoughts that originate from the source. In this way, we can effortlessly create a perfect life by simply being rooted in the source. Thinking about the source can never lead to its experience. The chapters that follow have 7 powerful techniques that lead you beyond the realm of thinking into the direct experience of the source. Presented as mantras, these 7 source tools in the following pages will teach you powerful meditations, exercises, and ways to assist in the self being accessed. Then you can apply the thought rules that you have learned earlier by being established in the source. This is creation from the source. Great ideas and inventions have always arisen from the source. Eureka moments spring forth from the source. The source tools will help you neutralize any negative emotions and help to channel your thoughts from pure consciousness. The existential experience of the source will bring forth calmness, peace, bliss, and tranquility. You will naturally progress towards highest potential when you create from the source by expressing these divine qualities. In the result-producing system given in Sutra 7, the first step is to connect to the source. You can accomplish this by practicing any of the 6 mantras that follow. The first 6 source tools will help realize the full potential of the system presented in Sutra 7. Each mantra, as well as the questions and answers that follow, will bring to light various aspects of stilling the mind by going beyond thoughts. Create from the source using the practical mantras that will be revealed to you one after the other. Create from the source by being the source.